vying for a bigger role in post-Gaddafi Libya. The US envoy exploring a possible new partnership.
The United States and our international partners have an enduring commitment to supporting the Libyan people as they chart their country's future.
The US threw its support behind the revolution, leading strikes against Gaddafi's ground forces. In July, the US formally recognized the National Transitional Council. Back to business here, the Americans' main concern is not just securing their own interests, but they are most likely to deal with Islamists thrust into positions of power after the revolution. The problem is that Washington is not sure whether those people are committed to democratic principles and have nothing to do with extremism. Gaddafi's weapons caches left abandoned. The possibility that these depots could fall into the hands of radical groups like Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb also worries the US.
Key concern to Libyans, to the international community, to the regions alike is the proliferation of both conventional and non-conventional weapons, or I should say the potential for proliferation. We already have people who are working quietly with the TNC on some of the conventional weapons. We've been talking to the Libyans about the non-conventional weapons such as the mustard agent, the toxic chemical precursors. It's worth knowing that these are not in weaponized forms.
The US embassy compound under tight security. It was closed when relations with Libya deteriorated at the start of the uprising. Gaddafi is gone now, but the US has a long way to go in coming up with plans to cope with the deep-rooted resentment here.
The world is about interests. We want to know what we have to give them and what we will get in return. Old slogans of colonialism are gone, but let's make it clear. Libyans are opposed to granting the US military bases.
In the more than 40 years of Gaddafi's rule, diplomatic relations with the US were never good. The US used all sorts of military and diplomatic tactics to try to isolate the Libyan dictator. It was only when Gaddafi agreed in 2003 to give up his nuclear weapons program that relations with the US were restored. Recently discovered secret files show that since then, US and Libyan spies have cooperated closely in tracking down Gaddafi's enemies. Hashem Ahelbarra, Al Jazeera, Tripoli.